What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another live stream for you guys. It feels like it's been a while since we've done this. End of the season, I think we did one for Timo Werner, but we're back here for the second signing of the season. And you know who it is, guys. It is Archie Gray. He has signed from Leeds for conflicting reports of how much it's been. I think it's 25 million plus Joe Rodon. I think that's, so what, 35 million.
In there, so
yeah.
It complicates what the final fee is.
But what David Ornstein is saying, he's probably the most reliable one. He says 25 million plus Joe Rodon, which is probably a 35 million fee, essentially, what it is for Archie Gray. But he has been announced today, which is very exciting for all of us. So let's go and have a look at all the announcements. Let's start off with what Leeds was saying, because they are deeply upset by losing one of their stars, or the star, Archie Gray. And they say, heartbroken to see one of our own depart. Archie Gray leaves with the best wishes of everyone at Leeds United as he joins Tottenham.
If you actually go, I don't know if there's a thing, if you actually go into it, they go into quite a bit of detail.
Well, I think I've got it here, actually.
Okay, fine.
And it says, Leeds can confirm Archie Gray has completed a permanent transfer to Tottenham Hotspur for an undisclosed fee after Spurs met a release clause that was triggered by the club's failure to get promotion at first attempt. And then it just says what I said. I don't know if there was anything else.
Yeah, that's quite interesting for a club to confirm that. Basically, they're saying, look, we didn't really have an option here. They're pretty much trying to show their fans, like, we couldn't do anything. We didn't accept an offer. It's a release clause. There's nothing we can do, which is quite interesting for a club to say.
Yeah, I agree. And then obviously they do their welcome to Joe Rodon. Going back to Leeds, where he had such a great season last year, is Joe Rodon. They say, welcome back, Joe. And there you have it. There's the Leeds United delighted to announce the permanent signing of Joe Rodon from Tottenham. He signed a contract till 2028. And they say never fall in love with a lone player unless it's Joe Rodon.
Brilliant.
And Rolls-Royce Rodon. So they're clearly very happy. But this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Spurs put out a teaser about 2 hours ago, and it's just the same thing every time, isn't it, with Spurs and their announcements.
It looks good, but it's a bit generic. But it looks nice.
And then this was the announcement video, 21 seconds. Pretty much the same thing.
But you get to see his face. Wonder how much that media room cost Levy.
Suits him the shirt, though, doesn't it?
Definitely. Well, look, he's always looked good in white, hasn't he, Archie Gray?
Absolutely. So there's the announcement video. We are delighted to announce the signing of Archie Gray from Leeds United back. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur, Archie. And then here we have, we've reached an agreement with Leeds United for the permanent transfer of Joe Rodon. Wishing you all the best for the future, Joe. And our new number 14, quite a big number to give to such a young kid, 18 years of age, following in the footsteps of my hero, David Ginola, Luka Modric as well. What do you think about giving that the number 14 straight off the bat?
It's a big number in Tottenham circles, but hopefully he doesn't feel that kind of weight, because obviously a lot of good players have worn that number before, but I don't know. I don't think they'll see it as a big deal, hopefully.
But I think giving him the number 14 does suggest that he is part of the first team for next year. It's not like he's got one of these 30, 20, 30, 40 numbers where you're going to be part of the youth team and just get a bit part role.
Oh, he's definitely not going to be part of the youth team. He's signed for big money. Of course, he's definitely going to be part of the first team. I don't think we would spend this amount of money on him unless we believed he had a role to play next season. And I really think he's going to get a lot of minutes.
And his interview, I don't think we can play the whole thing, but he says, I'm really excited. It's a massive club and it's an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. And he says some really interesting stuff about Ange Postecoglou as well. He says, I'm not going to lie, I'm a massive Celtic fan, so I love him. My whole family loves him. He's a massive factor. I want to create a strong bond with the fans and with the club.
He's Scottish.
He's not Scottish, but he comes from a line of Greys who are obviously Scottish, and they played for Celtic and they played for Leeds, and Eddie Gray and Andy Gray. He's
Andy Gray, the famous Andy Gray.
Not the commentator Andy Gray, a different player Andy Gray that was famous for playing for Leeds.
I see. Well, obviously we know how loved Ange Postecoglou was at Celtic, so there's no surprise to any fans of him. are going to really jump at the chance at playing under him.
Yeah, and this was the statement on the website. We are delighted to announce the signing of Archie Gray from Leeds United. The versatile midfielder has signed a contract that will run until 2030, and he'll wear the number 14 shirt. Born in Durham, Archie joined Leeds at under 9s level after progressing through their academy system, picked up his first involvement with their first team in 2021 at the age of just 15. When he was part of their matchday squad in the Premier League. After winning promotion with Leeds United's under-21s at the end of 22-23 season, he made his senior competitive debut on the opening day of the Championship campaign and starred throughout last term in central midfield and at right back, making 52 appearances in all competitions as Leeds reached the playoff final at Wembley. His performances led to him being named Championship Young Player of the Season. Still only 18 years of age, Archie is part of the Gray footballing dynasty at Leeds. His father Andy Gray, grandfather Frank and great uncle Eddie all notably played for the club. While on the international stage, he's represented England throughout the younger age groups, where he has played alongside a number of our own academy starlets. He made his first appearance for the Young Lions under-21s earlier this year in European Championship qualifying victories against Azerbaijan and Luxembourg, scoring on his debut against the former. So, yeah, he did mention in his interview, I don't know if you watched it, he mentioned it that he knows a lot of people at Spurs, but he says that not many of the first team, they're all the academy players, which he's used to playing with. I'm sure it's the likes of Jamie Donnelly and people like that.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, what'd you make of it?
Oh, look, I'm super excited. I was obviously a big advocate for this kind of deal since the beginning of the summer. I really didn't think we'd be able to get it over the line. I really thought if there were going to be big clubs kind of in for him, that we would be down the pecking order. I thought it would be very difficult for Spurs to kind of win that race to get him. I was very surprised when I heard Brentford were set to, agree a medical for him, because I thought what a coup that was for them. But I'm delighted Tottenham didn't allow that to stop them in the race. I'm really happy that we decided to hijack this deal, because this is a teenager who's got so much potential and so much ability. Watching him for Leeds last season, he was incredible, and he's got a really mature head on his shoulders. The way he plays, you can't believe that he's only 18. The bravery he plays on the ball, he's willing to take it when he's being pressed. He's willing to take it in difficult circumstances, in even players which we have right now can't do, like players like Højbjerg, who can't take the ball under pressure in the same way someone like Archie Gray can. And the more he grows, the more we play him, and the more minutes he gets, if we allow him to develop in the right way, we've got a real star on our hands. And I do think long term he's going to be a really good midfielder. I do think the plan, it should be, in my opinion, the plan should be next season is give him minutes midfield and also give him the role back up to Porro as well. I think that I also feel like that serves that need where we don't need to sign a recognised fullback now, because I think Archie Gray can fill in that role really well, especially the inverted role. He's really good at taking the ball under pressure in midfield. He's really good at progressing the ball as well. I'm just very, very excited. Obviously, he is only 18 years of age. Obviously, he's only played in the Championship, so there has to be a certain level of patience. I don't expect him to come in and just be a star straight away. But I watched that game when Leeds played at Stamford Bridge, and he played Chelsea off the park. He was the best player head and shoulders on the pitch that day. And if that's a sign of things to come of him playing at Premier League level, then maybe he can come in straight away and start starting games, because he was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm super excited, but not about what he can bring to Tottenham right now, and as well the future of Tottenham with all these really exciting young players we've got coming through the ranks. And Tottenham have pulled off a real coup, I feel, in this one.
Absolutely. And it's also important to note that in 3 years' time, then he'll be considered as a club-trained player as well, because he's coming here so young. So that's another amazing step in this deal. And I was speaking to Jer from Leeds channel yesterday. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but he was devastated, absolutely devastated that Archie Gray is leaving. Obviously, Rodon is a big sweetener in the deal because they love Joe Rodon there, and he was massive for them last season. And they're happy that he's come to Spurs and not gone to Brentford because of that as well. And they think that maybe he can get nurtured a bit more with Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham. But he said that his best position is actually an 8, not a 6, and not a right back.
He said that.
Yeah.
And, I think when he's played in midfield for Leeds, he's majority played in the number 8 position. He hasn't played in the 6. But obviously, you've got to remember he's only 18, so he's very malleable. just because his best position is something at 18 doesn't mean that at 21 or even 25 that could change a lot. So I do expect him to be a number 8 right now. Obviously, number 6 in our system has a lot of responsibility, so giving that to Archie Gray is a lot of burden on his shoulders. I don't know if we want to do that. I do expect, if I'm going to guess, I reckon a lot of his minutes are going to come at right back in the coming season. I do think back up to Porro is where we'll see him a lot, but I also think maybe we're thinking is going to replace maybe the Gallagher signing. Maybe that kind of puts to bed that signing if we see Gray as more of a number 8.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see where he does fit in. And I think it's important as well, because the last couple of signings that we've made from the Championship, whether it be Joe Rodon, Jed Spence, Jack Clark, none of them have really worked out, have they? And I think it's important because when you look at those signings, I don't think the managers fancied any of them, and they were all club signings. But it's so important to hear that Ange Postecoglou is integral in bringing Archie Gray to Tottenham, and I hope that we can manage this a lot better than we did manage the 3 previous ones that we did sign.
Yeah, but you look at them now; they're not doing too badly, are they? Look at Jack Clark and Rodon; they're playing very well at the moment. So I think a lot of it is to do with development. A lot of it is to do with how you use these players in the right environments, and clearly that wasn't right at the time when we brought them in. But I think right now we're going through a different period. We're clearly focusing on youth development. You've already seen examples of Sarr and Udogie or as young players coming into the first team, and Tottenham really giving them opportunities and really helping them develop as well. So I think this is a really good time for Archie Gray to be joining Tottenham, and I think this is a really important moment in his career, and I feel like Tottenham could be a right step the way we're approaching youth development at the moment and giving young players an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a few bits from various journalists to go through on Archie Gray. And Graham Smith, the Yorkshire Evening Post, the journalist that focuses on Leeds United, says there is no sell-on clause included in the Spurs deal to sign Archie Gray, which is massive in my opinion, because his value now could absolutely skyrocket, can't it, over the next 3 or 4 years.
It's important, but what I would say is Tottenham, if he's as good as we hope he would be, I don't think there's much likelihood of Tottenham sending him anyway, unless I don't know, maybe a massive club comes calling, and then at that point maybe you'd be thinking about a sell-on clause, but I think it's unlikely we'd be selling him.
Yeah, but look, he's 18 years of age. He can spend the next 10 years of Tottenham and still come out of it at 28, and let's say a massive club comes in for him.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
You never know what can happen to a player at such a young age. He can give such great service to Tottenham, be one of our biggest players for the next 10 years and still have another career ahead of him, you know what I mean? Fabrizio Romano says around April and May, Dortmund really tried to make things happen to bring Archie Gray to Germany. But then Gray decided to wait for opportunities in England, and now Tottenham completed this deal. It's done, just waiting for the official statement. Well, that's come now. Archie Gray is excited to go to Tottenham, and Ange Postecoglou wants to trust this project with young players, which I think is music to all our ears, because you see about the academy prospects coming through. You see about Lucas Bergvall coming in, Vuskovic to come in, I think in 6 months to a year's time. You've got now Archie Gray. So it's such exciting times at Tottenham with this young academy talent and young talent that we're bringing in from various parts of the world as well.
100%. And that's a really important point, because if Tottenham are going to close the gap to a lot of the bigger sides, it's not going to be through spending hundreds of millions. I mean, obviously we'd love Spurs to do that and love Spurs to buy ready-made stars, and I think we will also be spending big as well, and I'm sure we will be spending big on ready-made stars, but we also got to be smart in the market when it comes to investing in youth, and that's also got to be a big way we can help close the gap. It is signing these really talented young players who can become stars and start growing our own stars alongside having established stars in the team as well. And so that's why I think it's very important we're doing these kind of deals, and we've already seen the value in our first team right now contributing with these kind of deals. So I think it's very, very important, and I think hopefully in a few years' time we'll be reaping the benefits of all these deals.
Graham Bailey said that Archie Gray was persuaded to sign for Tottenham over other potential suitors after speaking to Ange Postecoglou. Ange presented him his plans for the club. When persuaded him it was the right move. The move was also approved by Archie Gray's family after they heard about Ange Postecoglou's ideas. We heard about how his family love Ange, they're big Celtic fans. So it's not the first time, is it, that we've heard about players coming to the club that really want to play for Ange, and Ange has really persuaded them to come.
The Ange pool is unmatched. Pretty much every player we've signed has mentioned a conversation with Ange really being the convincer. But I really do believe the way Ange plays is perfect for someone like that, for Archie Gray. I really believe that because I think Gray loves being brave on the ball. He wants to take risks. He wants to commit players, and I just think that's perfect what Ange wants from his players. And I think he's really going to fit in really well.
The Athletic say that Archie Gray was impressed by Brentford's presentation, but was led by Thomas Frank and completed a medical at their training ground. By Sunday morning, the midfielder had changed his mind over being convinced Tottenham was the best destination for him, as Johan Lang was in daily contact with Archie Gray's camp for weeks as Spurs pursued the transfer, pushing to get it done. On Sunday, Archie Gray asked Leeds United to reject Brentford's offer. They agreed to do so, which opened the door for a move to Tottenham. And then it goes on to say that Tottenham's recruitment department now places significant emphasis on using data to identify targets following a revamp in the last 12 months. The club are scouting for young players who are ready to make an impact in the first team, but have a significant room for growth. They believe Archie meets this criteria as well. So Johan Lang was working round the clock to get this deal done. And it's a weird situation, isn't it, that Archie Gray went for a medical at Brentford, but the bid hadn't been accepted yet.
Yeah, is that actually true? I know that medical was arranged.
That's what the Athletic said, yeah.
Which that's really weird, because Romano said that they had the medical book, but he didn't actually go for it. Maybe he did or he didn't. But that is very
the Athletic
strange.
Say that he completed a medical at their training ground.
That's very strange. Why would they allow him to do that if there wasn't an agreed deal? There must have been a acknowledgement that a deal was verbally agreed anyway. That's probably what it was. They probably agreed it verbally, and then they're waiting for a medical, and then they would have signed things up. But Tottenham pounced at the right opportunity.
Then he got that call from Ange.
Exactly, and there was no looking back. So really, really brilliant stuff from Tottenham. And yet another hijack. And we love a good hijack recently. Dragoshin as well, we hijacked. Bergvall we hijacked. Werner we hijacked. So a lot of hijacking going on at Tottenham right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last one I've got is from David Ornstein saying, although with the bonus of having that versatility in his locker, Spurs see Archie Gray primarily as a midfielder. Gray is happy with the amount of game time that he has been assured of at Spurs, and it'll be interesting to know what that actually is. I do think, maybe in my mind, what I think it's going to be is start Europa League games and Cup games potentially, and be on the bench for the Premier League games to start off with.
Yeah, I think to start off with, obviously, you never know what the state of the team's going to be injury-wise and form-wise and all that kind of stuff. I think why he's happy about his minutes, this is just me theorising, but I think he's probably been told, look, you're going to get good game time midfield, that's your proper position, and also you're going to be playing back up to Porro, and even in the inverted right back spot, you're going to be playing a lot of time midfield anyway, so it can help your development in midfield. So you're in both positions, because you cover both positions, you're going to be getting a lot of game time, and you're going to be we're going to be helping you develop. And he might be on the bench for some Premier League games. He might start a lot of Premier League games. You've got to remember, we got a lot of games that first half of the season, extra Europa League games as well. You throw in those Carabao Cup games. You were squeezing in all those Premier League games as well in that first half of the season. So yes, for the majority of Premier League games, I assume he's going to be on the bench, but I wouldn't be surprised if he starts a few Premier League games as well, and has a lot of time in Europa League as backup to Porro. So I think there's going to be more than enough to go around, and that's why this is what I was saying about when I wanted Spurs to sign a right back. I think it's very important we sign someone like an Archie Gray, which is why I was quite in favour of someone like Gertruda, someone who's versatile, can play in a few different positions, so that if Porro's in great form, he can also fill in the midfield if need be, and that's another position he can get game time in, so he's not feel like he's being left out. So I think Gray's a really good deal in that, from that point of view, that he can play multiple different positions and he's versatile, which means even if Bentancur or Sarr are playing in midfield, he can also play at right, but he can also fill in at right back as backup to Porro as well.
Do you think that now we've brought in Archie Gray, what's the plans for the rest of the transfer window? Do we still look for another fullback if we do recognise him as predominantly a midfielder?
I would say no. I mean, not a right back anyway, maybe a left back. But I would say there's no need to, in my opinion. There's obviously rumours, which maybe we'll get into later, that Tottenham are still looking at a fullback. But if in my mind, Archie Gray fills that role. And in my mind, he should be a backup. He should be our backup right back. I don't think there's any need to bring in another fullback. But maybe Tottenham see it differently. If they really think they don't want to play him at fullback and they only want to play midfield, I think that would be a mistake. But I think it would be a mistake for two reasons. I think it would be a mistake because we don't need to waste money on a fullback when Gray is there, and as well, if we buy a fullback, I think that just takes minutes away from Gray, and I think that doesn't help his development because that means he's only going to be playing midfield, and I don't think that helps him. I mean, it helps him in terms of if he plays midfield, that helps him develop there. But I think the more time we get him on the pitch, the better for him. And I think he's shown, actually last season, he played 40 games and 30 of them were at right back. So that shows
52 games he played last season.
52 in all competitions, and 30 of them were at right back. So he clearly could do that job to a high standard. So for me, there's no need to sign a fullback now.
Can you just bring up the phone again just one more time?
Also, he can play left back potentially as well.
Archie Gray has literally just posted on Instagram as of 3 minutes ago, and he says, so grateful to be at this massive club. I'm so excited for this opportunity and can't wait to get started and give my all for Tottenham and play in front of you fans. See you all soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Fully COYS, as
fully COYS is our Archie Gray, and I cannot wait to see him in pre-season. He's got 2 weeks of training now before the first pre-season game, which I think is QPR is our first game on the 17th, I believe, of July. So just over 2 weeks to go until our first pre-season game. But I want to see release the footage of him, of all the players walking into Hotspur Way already. I want to see it. Have they not come back? I've seen the picture of Troy Parrott back at Hotspur Way already, but I haven't seen anyone at the walk-in. Maybe because they just wanted to wait for Ndombele's last dance. Maybe Ndombele's still walking from last year to the front door of Hotspur Way, and they just want to wait for him to go by. But look. All jokes aside, that is...
And Archie Gray becomes the fourth most expensive 18-year-old in history.
Wow.
Is that right? Yeah.
And you lot say Daniel Levy doesn't spend money, eh? And you lot say it. But that is the Archie Gray announcement. Archie Gray has signed for Tottenham for whatever price you want to believe, let's say 40 million, with Joe Rodon going for 10 million the other way. I think we're all delighted about this deal.